Hello everybody, my name is Ellisa Cooper and we are cooking in quarantine. Cheers. So today I got up and it was a beautiful cool morning here in New York, and I saw on the morning news report that tomorrow it's not even going to break 70 here for the high. So because of that, I'm going to make one of my favorite cool weather dishes. So I've got the cast iron skillet out here. I have here a little bit of sweet sausage and a little bit of spicy sausage. I did get in here early enough that this skillet is already a little hot. And then I'm going to use this sort of sharp edge blade here to make sure that as I cook the sausage that I am breaking it up into small little kind of bite-sized pieces. Have I mentioned what I'm making? I'm making what I call my poor woman's cassoulet. So cassoulet is, sausage and duck confit, beans, cooked over the course of 3 days. And that is an amazing dish. But I don't have the space or anything really to work with. I'm not going to make my own duck confit. And they did not have any duck confit at the grocery store this morning. So I make it with a little chicken. And you'll see how simple this can be. This is exactly the kind of thing you could probably, I don't know if you are a slow cooker person. I've never owned one. But I think that this is the kind of thing that if you got your sausage good and browned, that you'd be in a great position to do this. Who's here with me? Hello, Denise. So, yes. And I may get a second edge going here because this is a lot more sausage to break up. And it's starting to be almost like an exercise. So, here we are. So this is really very simple. I've got, as soon as I pull my little R2 unit over here, you'll see that I have got some mirepoix ready to go here. Let me lay this down. Here comes the little guy. Da, 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 da. So, I have here, I think you can see, I've just got one good sized carrot, a couple of ribs of celery, a half an onion. I've got 4 cloves of garlic here ready to go. Cassoulet is traditionally made with like a Great Northern style bean, but you know me, I like to do things my own way. Today I got Great Northern and I got a Pinto bean. So they're both going to go in there. You're going to need a box of stock. You might use chicken stock. If you're making real cassoulet, it might even be worth it to seek out some duck stock if you can get it. So this first step is probably the longest and the hardest because you've got to get your little bits of sausage cooked and into the right kind of bite-sized pieces. And after that is done, maybe I'll switch hands. Use a different blade. Here we go. And then after that is done, we're going to throw, I'll pull this out. We'll reserve this and I'll get my veg started in here. I just threw a piece of meat over the side. I'll never see it again. You do when something's that far over. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day today. I think that my peeps in the middle of the country are probably being rained on because of that slow-moving hurricane that's probably pushing weather in weird ways. So, here we go. Some spicy sausage, some sweet sausage. Perfect. So, one of the things that we got to remember to do when we're cooking is you always want to season at every stage. So I'm going to give, that was probably about a half teaspoon of salt. Yeah, there's some red pepper in that, but we might want to have a little black pepper on here too. And with almost anything, you always throw a bay leaf in. Otherwise your bay leaves go bad, right? So I'll have a couple of bay leaves out here, just ready to go. So one of the things that's kind of the hallmark of this dish is that you flavor it with nutmeg. I also put a little clove in mine as well. I find that nutmeg can sometimes taste like soap, kind of like I think people talk about with cilantro. So I always put that little bit of clove as well. And it's unexpected and delicious. So this is kind of getting to be bite-sized. So I'm going to not separate things. Why? That's just an extra step and an extra plate to dirty up. And here we go. So carrots first, since they are the hardest and have the longest to cook. And probably put a little drizz of olive oil in here since there's nothing but a little pork fat in there right now. So give that a little bit. Get that started, and then I'll just layer them up on top, and I'll put celery second. And an onion third. And now I've got it all. I don't know if you can see what I've done, but I've kind of got half sausage in my pan and half veg in my pan. And let's see, what else have we got going? One thing I can do now is I'm going to push my meat off to the side so it doesn't overly brown, and then I'm going to push this veg around a little bit and get ready for the beans. They need to be rinsed. I know that most people would want me to make this with proper beans, but this is a poor woman and a working woman's kind of dish, so I don't think that there's any problem with using canned beans as long as you use good ones that aren't salty or don't have any, chemicals or anything in them. These are organic beans. Suddenly in my grocery store there are $4 cans of beans, and I'm like, I can't imagine what your bean might do for you at $4 a can. So, hello, Kathy. It's nice to see you. So, I'm going to dump my beans right here. Get them nicely rinsed off. And here we go. I'm going to get those beans out of the bottom of the can. Out of the bottom of the can. Perfect. All cleaned out. And now a little bit more. I just like to have different colors of beans in pots. It makes, because this is a really simple, literally, you're going to serve a pile of the bean with some, and sausage, right? That'll be on the plate with a big, nice piece of chicken on top. So since there's not a lot of color, of course you could always do something like make a big mess of greens would be really great with this. As a matter of fact, here we go. I did laundry this morning, so things are all askew. And now what's happening over here in our little pot? This is starting to look nice. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but all of a sudden the telemarketers have come back with a force, and I bet you that's exactly what's happening here. Ah, yes. Pardon me for forgetting to turn my phone off, but we could probably add a little bit of salt here to the veg side, just a little bit, and a little pepper. And it's probably a fine time to drop in our bay leaf. And let's see, my favorite tools. Here we go. Get that garlic in here. And I really like, now I use the 4 cloves of garlic, may seem like a lot, but the traditional cassoulet recipe calls for garlic sausage, right? So you cannot over garlic this, I don't feel like. I mean, unless you have a top out tolerance for garlic. But boy, I can eat a lot of garlic. I love garlic. Garlic and ginger, two of my favorite things. Here we go. This is a nice greasy garlic. Always smell your cloves, because you know how they can be corked, just like a wine. So you don't ever want to end up with corked garlic in your dish. It can ruin a dish. And if you don't know what I mean by corked, it's basically when chlorine comes into contact with a class of antifungals called aerosols and they bind together, creating trichloroanisole, which is what sometimes makes a wine, always it has to be a cork, right? It has to be in that wine for that to happen. But it sometimes happens, and then the wine will maybe smell like wet cardboard, or and there's nothing, it doesn't hurt anything, you're not going to die, but it strips the fruit off the wine, making the wine not lovely and beautiful anymore. So I now have all of my garlic and all of my chunks, pretty little chunks of sausage in here. Excellent. Just a few of them are a little too big for bite size, so I'm going to break them up just a little bit more, but that looks great. And so let me get this and show you. So just what you would expect, right? Just a nice sizzling pan of mirepoix. It's the very, very, very garlicky smelling. It's awesome. So next step is to get the beans mixed in with all of that. So now my beans, I think, are pretty well drained over here. Hello, Carolyn. And I'm going to get out my favorite purple Le Creuset Dutch oven and put the beans down in there. And then, here we go. I'm going to put all of my yummy sausagey stuff down in here. Beautiful. Whoops. Get all of the sticky stuff off the bottom if you can. There we go. It smells great. Okay. Perfect. My hands are still sticky with garlic, of course. So now I'm going to mix all of this together. Make sure that it all gets turned in nicely. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to kind of put my bay leaf so I know where to find it when the time comes. And now I'm going to put a couple of cloves in here. How funny that my whole cloves seems to have this kind of a shaker top. What an insane, strange thing. So, just a little bit, just I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 cloves. And I'm gonna put them around. Now this is one thing you're gonna want to, I probably could make them into a sachet. You're kind of gonna look for them, I think. And then my nutmeg, just a little across the top. This is maybe going to be 1/4 of a teaspoon all in. Now, let me see. Oh, yes. Another little crank of pepper. Another little crank of salt. And then I'm going to put stock in here to just about to cover it. But then here's kind of my trick. What I do is I have chicken, and I need to get these opened, but we're going to take care of this real fast. And I need a plate, and I need a paper towel. See, things are all misplaced today. Okay. So I'm just going to pat my chicken dry, And then I'm going to place them all on top of here, skin side up, well salted and peppered. And I'm going to let then a lot of then that as it cooks, the juice from the chicken is going to drip down through the beans and all of that good stuff, and just really enrichen and enliven the flavors. There we go. Let me get these. Just because I like for the skin. Yeah, I don't answer numbers. I know. I pay the like $2.99 for caller ID, and if I don't know you, I don't answer the phone. So look at all that good hunk of skin. You definitely. So I've got 3 nice chicken thighs right here, skin on. And then I also have a breast, because you never know who's going to be with you and who's going to like what. Lots of cassoulet recipes call for breadcrumbs. The original does not call for breadcrumbs. I do. However, I will sometimes take a little panko, and when you reheat this, because ideally this is one of those things that you would like to make, let it come to room temperature, and then reheat it. It's kind of think like soup. It's better the next day. The traditional recipe really does call for it to be made and brought back down to temperature, stored overnight. You're supposed to do it over a course of several days. And so that's kind of part of what I say about it being poor woman's, is that who has the time, right, to do that? Now let me get my chickeny hands washed, because ew. There we go. Nobody wants chickeny hands. There we go. Woo! That is hot water. You could scald a chicken. Yikes. Here we go. Good towel. Here we go. Towel to dry my hands with. So, the only thing now we have left to do is to salt and pepper the skin side of the chicken. So I'll do that nicely. I've got nice big flaky kosher salt in here. So, right. And then I'm going to find my pepper mill again and give all of that a nice, beautiful crank. Fantastic. And then, last but not least, just a little bit of stock. And then you'll put this in the oven, and think about, you were cooking the chicken. That's the most important thing, because everything else is really cooked, right? I want to make sure I don't put too much stock in here, because you definitely want it to be able to thicken up. And then that's another thing you might want to do, is as you maybe the second time, like if you really do take the time to let this come down to temperature and reheat it, I would absolutely suggest maybe you might look down, look under your thing and see how thick or runny your bean mixture is. And if you do have a real thin one, make a little slurry out of your stock, a little cornstarch, a little flour, butter, whatever you want to do, and put that in there for your reheat, so that then that stuff will tighten up a little bit. Speaking of tightening up, so yesterday I tried to make mayonnaise, which should be the easiest thing in the world. So it turns out that I should start reading the notes at the bottom of the recipes that I steal off of the internet, because if I had read, I would have known that in the notes people said this doesn't tighten up. That's why I stood there for 30 minutes with my burr mixer, and it never tightened up. So we will, on another day, we will make mayonnaise. I'm thinking of having a mother sauce month or so. So we'll get working on that. So anyway, you can put this into your oven at, call it 375. And I like to let the skin get nice and crispy. So you definitely, if you want to cook it partially with the cover on so that the chicken stays nice and tender, but you want to also make sure you've got that time prepared to take that top off so that your skin can crisp up a little bit. that is it, guys. That is my poor woman's cassoulet. It does not take 3 hours. It actually is probably could go into a 30-minute meal. So that's my story, guys, and it's been a great week. I hope you guys all have a great weekend ahead. Like I said, up here in the Northeast, it's going to be our first truly cool and fall-like weekend, and I'm really excited about that. So that's my story, Morning Glories. What have you done to take care of yourself today? I might go get a mani-pedi. No, I can't, because I've got, if I showed you what the other room looks like, you wouldn't believe it. I did 4 loads of laundry, so I'm going to have to run through and, like, you know, mop the bathroom and wipe the walls down before I actually put all the towels back in place. But that's the story of my life, guys. And but I have one of, like I mentioned yesterday, one of my favorite people in the world is coming for a visit, whom I have not seen since before quarantine. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Old friends, college friends, school friends, friends from the best friends are the friends that you don't have to see every often, that you don't have to speak to every day, that when you do, it's like no time has passed. Of course, Alex and I talk on the phone a lot, so never does much time go by. And tomorrow is his birthday, so I might watch the feed. I might bake a cake. Oh no, I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the time. And oh yes, thank you to Mary Jo, who made me this beautiful abalone bracelet that has, I'm sorry, I have it on backwards, that has the an old beautiful medal of the patron saint of vintners, winemakers. And so what a lovely, lovely thing. I had a lovely night. We sat up on the roof. It was nice, lovely. And our friend who lives up there has a fitness wall. So I was able to hang upside down both last night and this morning. And oh, how my legs feel so good today. So that's what I did for myself. I hung upside down. And what I've done for you is taught you how to make something that is absolutely amazing. And as you see, cheap, easy, and delicious. Or you'll see that it's delicious. And look, it hardly even made a mess in the kitchen, right? I love the idea of throwing a mess of greens in here with this as well. So that's a thought, guys. And with that, take care of yourselves. Take care of your mind, your body. Feed your soul. And do good in this world. And you know, it's funny, I was thinking just the other day when after the mayonnaise failed, so which was really a triple fail, right? I knew it was gonna, if I'd read ahead, I would have known it was gonna fail. That I realized that it's really not about the cooking, it's not about the food, it's about the philosophy, right? It's about having a purpose and having somebody to talk to when there's not that many people around. So I hope you guys know how much I appreciate you, and have a great weekend, guys. Cook something delicious. Take care of yourselves. Ciao. Michael, Joy, hello, hello, hello. If I missed anybody else, you guys all rock. Thank you.